My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. I want to take a second here and welcome you to Lone Wolf Mountain, my piece of paradise in the mountains of North Carolina. For this trip, we are out here at the cabin. The weather is beautiful. It's warm, but the humidity is low. For the rest of the day, we're in the shade. And as the sun goes down, it's going to cool down. It'll be the perfect time for us to sit around a fire. The first thing that I'm going to do is open up some windows and some vents, then I'm going to charge some lights. The last time that I was out here, folks, I was doing a gear testing trip. During that trip, I went through every single lantern and I didn't have time to charge them. So if I don't charge them now, I'll have no light later. So I guess I better do that. The last trip I was out here was maybe 4 weeks ago, something like that. Luckily on my phone, I keep notes of everything. So this was fresh on my mind. Charge those lamps. Are you all like that? Do you keep like a list of notes? I personally keep track of everything. Otherwise, I would without a doubt forget stuff. My friends, the weather conditions today are fantastic. Right now, 72 degrees, low humidity. It feels incredible. There's a slight breeze. It is absolutely perfect, in other words. After a very long, wet summer, it is finally time for us to get a dry period here in the mountains. So the forecast is for like the next 2 weeks, no rain. I don't even remember the last time we had such a long period without rain. While it's dry, I'm going to enjoy it, that's for sure. friends, it is coffee time. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Let's see how this is. It's hot, but it's fantastic. Just like the weather. It is a really, really nice day. The last real nice day for probably a good week or so. The forecast coming up is just hot, hot, and hotter. The high today was 75, tomorrow 82, the next day 85 and up. It's gonna be hot. The hottest weather of the year, and maybe even record-breaking for this time of year. Generally, as we're going into like the end of August, we begin to cool down. That's not going to happen, not this year. Talking about the weather, everybody, this year has been crazy, just absolutely crazy. If you've been watching all of the adventures from the summer, you know that we've been through 2 tornado warnings. Tornado warnings up here in the mountains are incredibly rare. Filming adventures, I've been in 2 tornado warnings. But it goes further than that. The other night, I was asleep, it was about 1:30, alarms start going off, a tornado warning had been issued. I got up, put some clothes on, stepped outside, looked at the sky, and it was just non-stop flashing. A tornado did touch down. It went, I think, about 2.5 miles. The wind speeds peaked at 105 miles, and I believe it was like 105 feet wide. Luckily, there was no damage at my house, nothing like that. Nobody experienced any damage. With us being up here in the mountains, there's not many people, so luckily some trees got damaged, and that was it. Nonetheless, though, it's definitely been a crazy year as far as weather goes. The temperatures this year have been below normal. It really hasn't been as hot as it usually is in the summertime. I guess that's why it's warming up now. It's time to equalize things, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's because of the temperatures, but something about this year really has brought out the snakes. I've seen more snakes this year than I have in a long time. And I've seen a wide variety of snakes as well. Black rat snakes, racers. We have black racers here in North Carolina. Milk snakes, water snakes, ringnecks, garter snakes. It seems like just about every single time I've come out here to Lone Wolf Mountain, I've come across a huge racer. Those snakes, man, they can be so long. I mentioned this in a previous episode. When you come across a black snake that's like 7 foot long, it's startling, right? It doesn't matter if you're afraid of snakes or not. And it's not like I'm just seeing snakes here at Lone Wolf Mountain, but all over the place. At home, out on trails. Just lots and lots of snakes, which is a good thing. I'm glad to see them. Everything has a job, everything has a role. It's definitely not a bad thing. A few weeks ago, I put up an episode where I was out here at Lone Wolf Mountain. I was basically doing a truck camp over here. In that episode, I went out, got my trail cams, and I shared with you all the footage from those trail cams. That's where you all got to see that this is the Lone Wolf Mountain Zoo. We had bucks, 8-pointers, we had spikes, we had baby deer, coyotes, black bear, we had a black bear cub, and a more mature adult. We had raccoons, possums, bobcat, so on and so on. Lots and lots of animals. Without a doubt, this has been a busy year for animals as well. This is kind of funny. I didn't mention this, but I should have. It was a few months back. I was filming a storm adventure over the mountain here on the hill. That was the first tornado warning, right? So we get the tornado warning, the tent leaks, all that good stuff. I decided to come here to the cabin to stay the night because the tent was full of water. So basically I hiked over the hill, was coming up here. That's when I encountered a baby skunk. My first thought was like, oh my God, I do not want to get sprayed by this skunk. Anyway, I just walked around it, no big deal. I get closer to the cabin, and what do you know? There's another skunk. She ran away, but then turned around and got some courage and was coming back towards me. That's when I hopped inside of the cabin. I just went to sleep. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, there's just so much wildlife here at Lone Wolf Mountain. There's animal sign all over this mountain. Bear tracks, bobcat tracks, deer tracks, there's bear poop over there. And along with all of that, there's a ton of coyote sign. I've seen tracks, poop. I've even come across kill sites. They're definitely active this year as well. And they're active here at Lone Wolf Mountain. We definitely have quite a few on this property. It's been a few days since it's rained, folks, and already everything here is just bone dry. Listen to that. That is a nice thing about going through a dry period, is all of the dry firewood. That is something that I'm not accustomed to here in the mountains. Because it's so wet, basically all year round, having dry wood is such a luxury. The sun's going down. We'll be down in about 2 hours or so. Right before the sun goes down, we'll get the fire going, and even before that, we'll make dinner. Make dinner and get all of our chores done before it gets dark. By the way, folks, if you've been wondering about my foot injury and how it's doing, I have some good news to report. All in all, it's doing very well. It's not perfectly healed, but hey, it's good enough. Just in case you're not aware, sometime back, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I began having an issue with my left foot, namely with the heel. So I went to a doctor, I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis and some torn ligaments in my heel. After talking to you all about it, I've begun trying different types of remedies. Some of them helped, some of them did not. The biggest difference came with a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes specifically designed for plantar fasciitis. These shoes come from a company called Kuru, and they are fantastic, folks. They really are. If you're having any sort of issues when it comes to plantar fasciitis, make sure to check out this company and these shoes. That sounds like a product plug, but it's not. Susie found these shoes, we purchased these, our own money, no sponsorships, nothing like that. But these shoes are incredible. I can wear these shoes and I can go out hiking all day long and I'll have no issues at all. They really are that good. It's because of these shoes here that Susie and I were able to go out to Hawaii to hike the tallest mountain in the world. I was very concerned about that trip, but it was something that I needed to do. Not only for myself, because I really, really wanted to, but because it was a testing grounds for what's coming up next. I didn't want to fly all the way to Japan to find out that I couldn't hike that mountain, so Hawaii is just a little bit closer, so that's where we went first. Luckily, with these shoes, I was able to do it. And folks, the foot is getting better. It really is. To everyone who wrote in with ideas and suggestions, I really do appreciate it. Cheers, my friends. Cheers. Thank you so much for all that you do for me. I really do appreciate it, guys and gals. I will be honest, everybody, when I was packaging all of this up at home, that sure looked like a whole lot more broccoli than it really is. There's like 8 pieces of broccoli here, and that's it. My friends, it is time for dinner. What I have here is some broccoli with Caesar dressing. I have a cheeseburger with tomato that has queso on top and burger sauce on the side. That's pretty funny, isn't it? I have to say. Yeah, hey, it is what it is, right? In the end, I know this is going to taste incredible. I just wish I had more of it. Let's start with the broccoli and let's see how that is. The broccoli is amazing, folks. The odds are it will be better than the cheeseburger. That is incredible. Now I wish I made maybe 2 or 3 of these. As you all can see, I've messed up on this trip. As soon as I had the first bite, I just had to keep on going. I couldn't talk, and I can't talk now. I didn't know I was this hungry until I started eating, but man, this is good. Mm-hmm. As you all can see, it's getting dark. It's about 8:16 right now. It is 66 degrees, and sitting next to this fire, this is fantastic. It's really nice. As you all can see here with the smoke, it's going straight up. And that's because there's not much of a breeze. It's not quite still, but it's close. Again, luckily the temperatures aren't that bad, so this is rather comfortable. People ask me all the time, what is it like living in the Appalachian Mountains, right in the heart of Appalachia? The topic of deliverance gets brought up from time to time. I can tell you all that none of that stuff exists. You know, there may be some like remote sections, maybe in Georgia, maybe up in Virginia somewhere, but at least here in North Carolina, you don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. The simple fact is that civilization really has been moving into the mountains, so to speak. There aren't that many areas that are considered remote anymore, like there was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, there was plenty of places that you simply could not go for like safety's sake, where people were not welcome. But that's not the case anymore. Everything's just developed. People have become more civilized, less remote. I think one of the most interesting things taking place over the last couple of years has been the influx of new people, namely from large cities. So you have all of these people escaping the cities. They want a different type of lifestyle. What the locals fear the most is change. It will be interesting to see what the mountains are like in 10 or 15 years. Along with all this new money, you have new ideas, different political affiliations. So it'll be interesting to see how things change. Hopefully all that makes this area so special isn't being sold, you know what I mean? Well, I tell you what, folks, it's getting so dark here, you all won't be able to see me much longer. So I'm going to kick back, enjoy this fire, and I'll bring you all back when I go inside the cabin. There's a ton of coyotes over here, and they're fairly close too. Well, everybody, I think now that the fire's dying out, I'm out of wood, and I'm surrounded by coyotes, I think I'll go in. Sounds like a good idea. It is now 10 o'clock. It's about time for me to go to bed. My plan is to get up rather early. That way I can enjoy the sun coming up and get out of here before it gets too hot. Again, it's supposed to be like 82 tomorrow, and the humidity is going up. So, the truth is, today was the perfect day out here at Lone Wolf Mountain. I mean, like 75 degrees, a nice little breeze, low humidity. Perfect. Just absolutely perfect. I mentioned a little while ago that we have about 2 weeks of no rain, and that's on top of basically 1 week without rain as well. Based upon the current conditions and the forecasted conditions, it's definitely going to be dry out there. I mean, you all saw how easy it was for me to get that fire going. All I had to do is just take one match, right to it, and it took off. Very, very simple. What I fear is that we're going to have really dry conditions for numerous weeks. Then we'll get hit by one of those tropical systems. If I'm not mistaken, there's 5 systems in the Atlantic right now, with 3 that could potentially come this way. It's about to get interesting, everybody. No doubt about it. Anyways, folks, I'm going to kick back for a little bit, listen to the sounds of the forest, listen to the coyotes. By the way, we are absolutely surrounded. You might be able to hear them still. They're howling like crazy out there. Yeah, I love it. All right, everybody. I'll bring you all back before I go to bed. Well, my friends, it is now 11:40. It's time for bed. I tell you what, it's actually getting a little bit cool. I'm ready to hop underneath this blanket. It's kind of funny to say in August, but the humidity today is just so low. So it's like a real dry air, so it's quite a bit cooler than normal. Since I saw you all last, I've just been inside of the cabin here doing some reading, and I've been listening to the coyotes all night long. They've been howling all around us. It's pretty funny. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't say I've ever heard of anyone being attacked, at least in an area like this. Every once in a while you will hear like something crazy happening. More times than not with those crazy situations that you may hear of, oftentimes it's rabies that's the cause. That's the reason why it's so crazy. Anyways, folks, it is time for me to go to bed. I'm ready to get wrapped up in the blanket, so I will say good night. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is 8 o'clock. And right now it is 55 degrees. And it feels incredible. I slept great last night. Nice and cool, quiet. Never heard anything except for the coyotes. Like all night long, coyotes. Instead of making cowboy coffee this morning, let's use the coffee maker. Let's make it nice and easy. Good morning, my friends. Good morning. Cheers. let's try the coffee. Smells incredible. And it is incredible. That is really good stuff right there. The sun is coming up. It's a beautiful day. The forest is alive. As soon as I got up this morning, I was hearing, all the typical stuff. But I was also hearing, like, some of the trees clack together and moisture hit the ground. That could be our black bear friend that's out here, or black bear friends, maybe. Definitely slept great. Susie's up already. She's been sending me messages. She's been going after the scammers who are on YouTube and on Facebook. So that is something that we should talk about, folks. On YouTube, Facebook, other social platforms, there are people out there who are trying to take advantage of you, and they will impersonate myself, or if you're on another channel, someone else. So these people will ask your name, how long you've been a subscriber, how long you've watched the channel. Then they'll tell you, because you're such a great viewer, they're going to give you an iPhone or an iMac or a MacBook or maybe even a tent, who knows. The thing is this, folks, it's a complete lie. It's a complete scam. They're from China or Africa or something like that. Who knows? The thing is this, do not give them any of your information. Do not give them any of your money. Pay close attention. You can always tell that these accounts are scams. There's only one real me, the Outdoor Gear Review, and you will see that by the check mark on YouTube. On Facebook, if you see an account that says the Outdoor Gear Review, click on it. See how many followers it has. If it has 6, it's not me. Right? If you have further questions, shoot me an email and I will address those for you. I just want to mention all of this, folks, so you do not get scammed. So many people have. So many people have sent them money, not even questioning why I would be giving away iPhones and stuff like that. Everyone, be smart. Be smart. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but yesterday I was talking about my foot injury, right? So since I started talking about that maybe like 4 months ago, I have heard from, some amazing viewers with great ideas on how to take care of it. I've also heard from people who are like out in space. One person told me that my foot was hurting because I had gotten so big. That's an interesting theory, off base, but plausible, I guess. The other one is this woman. She told me that there's plastic in the air that we're breathing in. And like, I was breathing in plastic and it went through my mouth, into my lungs, and somehow into my foot. So, yeah. That happened, everyone. I'm in trouble. Something about that seems impossible. Or what was that kid on The Simpsons? That's impossible. Does anyone even watch The Simpsons anymore? I guess it's still on. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Back then it was funny. I wonder if it's funny now. Comment down below, let me know. In regards to the scammers, because we are the legit Outdoor Gear Review, there are things that we can do to these people, which we've begun doing. So already we've had numerous accounts taken down, stuff like that. When one disappears, another comes back, and it just keeps on going. With that being said, though, it does look like YouTube is getting a handle on the whole scammer thing. Anytime that you all tell me that there's like an impersonator, I go look and they're gone. And that means that either you all are reporting them and they're disappearing, or YouTube is doing it. Either way, it looks like the issue is being handled, but that doesn't mean that they're not present. So, one final time, be careful. You all work way too hard for your money to give it away to some scammer piece of shit, you know what I mean? Anyways, my friends, there are a few more things that I want to talk with you all about before saying goodbye. The first one that I need to touch upon here are some shout-outs real quick. So, Bill, thank you so much for what you've done. I'm not going to say it on camera, but he went above and beyond, and I really do appreciate it. I'm not sure if he would want me to say anything, so I'm not going to, but Bill, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you, buddy. What you've done could literally be a lifesaver, and I appreciate it. Mark, thank you so much for the Australian camping food. The steak meal looks awesome. I can't wait to try that. I may try that later on this week. Marie and Roy, thank you so much for the bug repellent and the sunscreen. out here at Lone Wolf Mountain, I definitely need both. Mike from Ireland, thank you so much for the coffee. Mike from Michigan, thank you so much for the coffee. My buddy Mike, thank you so much for the knife. I really do appreciate you, buddy. Shay Lisa, thank you so much for the coffee. I really do appreciate it. And Tom, thank you so much for the cordage, the tensioners, and so on. You are the man. Thank you so much, pal. Talking about the next camping trip, if you saw last week's episode, I went out for a hammock hang. So I went out into the forest, there was a low chance of storms, and as soon as I got to the top of the mountain, out in the middle of nowhere, severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, wind, rain, thunder, lightning, it was on. It ended up raining all night long. At one point in time, the rain was completely horizontal. My hammock ended up getting soaking wet. In the end, that trip was ruined as far as a good hammock adventure goes, so my plan is to go out for one without a tornado in it. That will be nice. Another point to talk about is Bento. That's the Japanese Land Cruiser that I purchased. I've had a lot of people asking about it. Where is it? Did I sell it? Did I sell it? Yes, I did. I sold it. Susie did not like the Land Cruiser because it was right side drive. I have to admit, it took a long time to get accustomed to it. I got accustomed to it enough where I could drive it, but there were times where that definitely made me nervous, especially on the small, narrow country roads out here. Like some roads, that was scary as hell, to be honest. I mean, like, you're right there on the edge. You can't see the line. And then on this side, like if you're not really paying attention, you could easily go over it. So yeah, I mean, you just had to basically ride the edge. It was intense at times. Anyways, I completely understand why Susie didn't like it. And because she didn't like it, I sold it. I ended up selling it to a viewer. I hope you enjoy it, my friend. Have a good time with it. Talking about Land Cruisers, did you all see the newest one? The latest Toyota Land Cruiser that was just announced? It is sweet. And for the first time in a long time, they're priced reasonably. For a long time in the United States, the Land Cruiser's been a luxury automobile that costs like $120,000 and up, which of course makes no sense. But this year, they've actually brought the price down to a more reasonable level. I'll tell you what, my friends, the sun is about to peak the top of the trees here, and already it is warming up. 82 degrees today, something like that. It's gonna be warm. Because of that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me for this trip. I really do appreciate it. I will see you on Sunday and Tuesday with the next reviews, and next Thursday with the next adventure. Make sure to check out my second channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. The adventures that I have on my second channel are different than those that I have on this one. I would greatly appreciate it if you would check out the channel, consider subscribing. I do appreciate it. Alright everybody, I am going home. It's time for me to pack up. Everyone, take care, be well, strength and honor. Be safe out there, folks. It's a crazy world, crazy place, isn't it? Every time I read the news, I'm always like, what the heck? People are so bizarre. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, be safe, folks. Bye for now.